Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic on Known Classics. This is episode number 3282, Doubleshot 3176. I got two Star Wars trades here. First up we have is Star Wars, The High Republic. Phase 3, Volume 2, The Hunted. This collects issues 6 to 10 of The High Republic. Yeah, it says here, Section 4, The Acolyte. I have not seen Acolyte, but I've heard this show is awful. It is considered to be the worst of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. It is that bad. And here's the weird thing, though. Out of all the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, the only one I get a consistent positive feedback about this one is The Mandalorian. Everything else tends to be pretty decent or okay. I would say probably the second best one behind it is probably Obi-Wan Kenobi. A lot of the other ones are just okay. One I felt was basically complaining, that's like I heard the show is really good. That's Andor. Yeah, a show that was completely unnecessary, but yeah, it's pretty very popular, people. So, mostly supposed to have Calvin Scott on the writing here, with artwork for issues 6, 8, and 10 by Jim Towney, Laura Braga, the 6 and 9. They also have one Acolyte, the Acolyte Rica, basically, I think it was a character from the show, artwork by Marca Cursita. Mostly put, this continues whatever the High Republic was doing. I read this, I'm like, it's okay. It's just, it's an okay story, it's just not interesting. And Marvel insists on publishing this thing. And can you believe the last issue for this came out a year ago? Yes, a freaking year ago. Oh, and here's the weird thing. DMR put out, right after this book ended, one miniseries and a one-shot. Yes, well, an ongoing series that ended after only 5 issues. Mostly put, it's got good artwork, yes. It's mostly put just the Jedi bowing these creatures called the No, I think it is. There's even a scene here of two men kissing. I have no issue with that at all. It just felt completely random at best. It's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, okay, so this is the High Republic area, and I'm like, where the heck are the Sith? I mean, are the Nulls supposed to be replacing for the Sith? They better not be, because the Sith were constantly in the original EU, excuse me. In the original EU, the Sith were in constant conflict with the Republic and the Jedi. Until one point, a mind bomb pretty much wiped them all out, except for Darth Bane and his female apprentice, who later at the end of his trilogy killed him and took another apprentice, because the girl who became his apprentice, apparently he was grooming her to be their replacement. And by book 2, he wanted her to kill her, but she said no because time was not right yet, and eventually she did finally kill him and basically became the master. That's kind of how the book series ended after 3 books. I do vaguely remember Darth Bane, but I'm like, if you're going to tell stories in this era, how about, I don't know, adapt the Darth Bane novels, or make the Knights of the Republic canon. This is just okay. It's not terrible, it's just okay. And plus, the Acolyte one-shot is for somebody I'm not overly familiar with, so moving on. Give it an 8 out of 10. I'll be nice to it. Next up is a character which I think is the second time we actually had one of these for Star Wars, because the first we had was for Vader. Now we have one for Darth Maul. Black, white, and red. Mostly put, these are very different stories related to Darth Maul. And these stories are quite interesting, to say the least. It's roughly 4 issues, and unlike other black and white books, which have multiple stories across the 4 issues, this one has one story each issue. We have Ghost Ship by Ben Percy, he's the writer, artwork by Salvador Vidali. Issue 2, the Remainders, Mark Russell, and artwork and coloring is by Carlos Nito. The mission is written by Erica Sanchez with Leonard Kirk in the artwork. And you have Peace and Quiet by Greg Pak, artwork by Luca Passari and Will Seeley. Now, of all these people, the only person who actually has written a Star Wars book prior to this miniseries coming out is Greg Pak. I mean, the guy wrote like three junior Star Wars novels. He wrote Shattered Empire. He wrote the last like 10-ish issues of Star Wars. The run that started in 2015 and before it was relaunched in 2020. He wrote the last 10 issues of that book, which was amazing. And he also did Darth Vader. He had an excellent run for the book. There's no denying Greg Pak has got definitely talent. And he clearly loves Star Wars. Yeah. So, the first story, now a lot of these stories take place before the events of Episode 1. Now, are any of these stories featuring, of how Palpatine first met Darth Maul? I think one of vaguely does. So, we have missions sent out by Maul to look for these weird creatures in the first story. Which, gotta love the artwork, especially this gigantic spaceship. Star Wars always seems to have the weirdest designs for spaceships. At times. Yeah, that's the thing I always find weird about Star Wars. Is that a lot of their ships are so weirdly designed. And you're probably thinking, are the designs awful for Star Wars? Not really. I don't think they were terrible for the ship designs. It's just that they have really shaped. I mean, yes, Star Trek's got that too, but at least they have a lot of good designs for ships. Also, Maul just going to serious missions for Palpatine, fighting some weird creatures. Love all the interior stuff here. Like, the first story is basically like, it's called Ghost Ship, where he basically investigates a haunting of a spaceship. That's pretty much what the first issue is. Second story involved, looks like a Jedi who survived, presumably, and he just Maul on another mission. That's mostly what these issues are, series missions for Darth Maul. It is by far from Marvel Comics. I believe this is the second miniseries he's had on the Marvel Comics. Yeah, second, because he had a self-timed miniseries just simply called Darth Maul, and this one. But those of you thinking, wait, what about Darth Maul Son of Dathomir? That was published by Marvel Comics? Yes, but that was published by Marvel. That was published by Dark Horse. And it is the only comic book published by Dark Horse Comics that is actually considered canon because it's actually really good. And plus, it's an adaptation of episodes that were unmade from unproduced episodes from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I think that was 4, and the Asajj Ventress novel was an adaptation of 8 unproduced episodes. Yes, 8. Yeah. But I would say of the 2 books, I would say Darth Maul, Black, White, and Red is the better book. Yes. But how many more books left to go for Star Wars? For the excuse me. Well, for Star Wars, I don't think there's a lot left to go for Star Wars. Not really. But I'm looking forward to doing the rest. I don't think there's any more High Republic books left. Let me check and see. I don't think there is. They're on here anyways. I'm going to check and see about it because I have the third one here. And by the way, I'm not talking about the High Republic Avengers. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones published by Marvel Comics. Okay, so there is one more left. Yeah, one more. That has been released. Yes. Yes, I do know about the manga books. I actually kind of enjoy the manga books a little more than the main book. Yeah. And those of you who are curious, have I ever read any of the High Republic novels? No, I have not. I honestly have not. So for High Republic, there is officially for the main line, one book left to go. Shadows of Starlight. And yeah. But I'm sure I can find something else for Star Wars. Definitely. Oh yeah, so that's pretty much it for the particular video. Please be sure to like and subscribe to notifications. Well, back to Isekai Cheat Magician. Okay, next video. Bye.